Okay, so another compensation, this is what Dr. Rodriguez was talking about a lot on his functional anatomy PowerPoint, is relative motion. So if Tony is coming up into abduction and does this, okay? Exactly, so the pelvis is rotating, okay? He's keeping his legs steady, but the pelvis is rotating back. So relax for a second, just let me move you. If he comes up and I see this, that's really, really obvious. If he does this, where his legs stay straight but his pelvis goes back, it's relative motion. All right, relative to the pelvis, the hip is going flexion and internal rotation, but I'm seeing it as a pelvic rotation. Okay, do you guys understand that? Because that's a big thing to understand, is that relative motion of the pelvis. So he might be perfectly in the plane of abduction, but his pelvis goes back. All right? And you may be tempted to say that's external rotation at the hip. If his hip is staying level, that is internal rotation at that hip. Right? That's the relative motion that's happening. If his entire leg just rotates out and goes back, that's external rotation. But if his leg is staying perfectly in the plane, you just see that pelvis drop back, that is flexion and internal rotation at that hip. Okay, so that's a big thing to look out for in addition to the very obvious TFL. Okay, so I will ask him to lift straight up. When he gets to his inner range, I will ask him to hold, 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 hold. I like to gradually increase my force. He's working really hard. Good, now move a little bit down. And let me see how you do there. So I like to apply resistance here. You can apply resistance here. To be honest, I can't remember what the manual muscle test really is. But I like it at the hip, I like it at the ankle because it just gives me a little bit more information. Okay, so all the way through range, watching for deviations, inner range hold, drop down into manual muscle test position, and then you're done. That's your assessment. Always looking for deviations. I can apply stabilization at the hip if I wanted to. When you're applying it here, you can kind of just hug somebody to you like that. So you don't have to do the front and the back with the hands. I can get my elbow, get my pelvis to give me that hug. Okay, it's not exact and perfect, but it gets the job done. And then he can come up and I can do resistance here or watch how his motion moves. Okay, so that's how I can apply external stabilization, and then I can give him a cue and see how it improves. All right, try that.